Good evening and welcome to Slam the Gavel, the show that tells it all regarding family court, other court issues, as well as CPS. I'm your host, Maryann Petri. Patriots Against CPS Corruption invites you to attend their March for Texas Children. DFPS has failed the families of Texas. The Texas Special Committee on DFPS has also failed to hear the parents. It's time to make your voices heard. Surround yourself with those on the same mission as you. Join us on the March for Our Children, September 21st, 2022, starting at 1 p.m. at 701 West 51st Street, Austin, Texas, 78751. I have a return guest. I have Monica Griego back on. She's been on my show multiple times. I've been following her case. She's been on season 1. And she's been on season 2, episode 10, season 3, episode 2, season 3, episode 32. She's been on other episodes as well. But I welcome you back to the show, Monica. You have a lot to tell us about what's going on with your girls at this present time. So how are you?
Well, I'm surviving. I'm doing as good as I can do. Not bad. Well, let's see. So it started off with I want to say either March or April of this year, where I allowed Nicole Rollins, a supervisor, to enter the motel that I was staying at. I allowed her to assess it, thinking she was just going to assess it.
Mm-hmm.
She went from assessing it to making false allegations that there was bugs. And, they know, CPS globally knows that most motels do have some kind of bugs, whether it's roaches, whether it's mice, whether it's something. They're going to have them. It's a motel. They're all in close proximity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
People live close together. You cannot put space between each room.
Right.
So it's like they purposely did that. They've been giving my boyfriend problems for a long time now. And that's because he has a bachelor's degree in psychology, something they don't have. That means that he has the ability to work with kids, to work with people. And he's just he's awesome with the kids. He does really good with them. And he shows them a lot of attention. And there really should be no concerns when it comes to him, other than the fact that they're CYFD here in Albuquerque. And I want to say probably most likely Las Cruces and everywhere else in New Mexico. It's probably they're just targeting him because he has something they know that they're supposed to have by law. They're supposed to have at least a master's degree, if not a bachelor's degree.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're supposed to have one. It's just part of what's in. If you look at the college education for social worker, they're supposed to have one. They're not supposed to just get hired and stamped, signed, and sealed, and here you go. You're a permanency worker. Now you got all these laws that you can go in and violate, like they've been doing for 7 years on my case. I'm starting to call it a 7-year vendetta. Because as it says in the Bible, in Timothy 2, it says, in the last days there will be no agreements. And there has not been not one agreement. My mother-in-law passed away. That wasn't good enough for them. They that gardener led him. He's pure evil. He is pure evil. He knows nothing about my children's best interests. I mean, it's just really bad when when this department has to go as far as lying, putting 5 restraining orders against me. 5. And they don't even know which one to use because none of them are valid. I mean, they're using my posts against me.
Mm-hmm.
They're using my website against me. The fact that I want to help people get their kids back, they're using that against me. Everything they can use, they used it against me.
And they twist it and make it fit their own narrative.
Exactly. And this judge, my attorney, I cannot believe her. Her name is Maryann Archangelis, and she is the most horriblest attorney. She obviously took offense to one of the emails I sent Judge Ward, as if she's Judge Ward's mother or something. I'm like, these people, they're like, they're starting to behave like lions, and they just want to destroy everyone they can. And then they wonder why they can't sleep at night or why someone's picking on their kids. It's because of who they are. I mean, like Jordan Woodall, for example, she's the CASA on the case. A CASA that's supposed to be representing the child's best interests wouldn't be allowing the father of the children to be watching porn with the kids.
That's terrible.
That's what's happening right now. He's being allowed to watch porn with my kids like it's nothing. He sexually abused both of them. And they don't want to give both girls a sexual assault examination. And that's because they know they're guilty. Just like they were guilty when I was a kid, when it happened to me. In my case, when I was a kid, there was actual blood on my underwear. They have it in evidence, and they don't even care about that. And now, for the second time, they're trying to terminate my parental rights again because I've exposed them.
So they want to now adopt your daughters out.
Yeah, and I have a suspicion of maybe 2 people that maybe want my kids. Possibly Amanda Estelle Veraca or Bernadette Fuentes. Bernadette Fuentes, I say her mostly because she already has Mark Jr. She's already neglecting him as an adult. He's disabled. She's neglecting him. She's taken all his services from him. So she's going to do that to the kids. She's going to take all Holly's services from her, Esmeralda's services. She's going to put them in regular ed. And she's just going to have Holly at home like she does Mark Jr. No services, nothing, wasting away. And I don't think I'm going to permit that. Because Bernadette let Esmeralda suffocate Holly with a pillow in her home, in her care. So she cannot have my kids. She cannot care for my kids. She can't even care for Mark Jr. She leaves him alone with her family while she goes and attends to her adult kids that are in Las Lunas or wherever else they're at. They need mama's help, so mom has to go drop everything and run to the rescue. That's why her kids are always in and out of prison. That home that she had us in, it belongs to a prisoner. It don't even belong to Bernadette herself. I didn't even know that until I started looking up the home online. You can see the records are public.
It makes you wonder, what is the matter with these people? I don't understand why they just don't return these children to you.
Well, here's the thing. The thing is, they think they're gonna win, and maybe in the legal sense of them lying, they're gonna win right now on earth. But there's God, and that's where they're not gonna win, because they're gonna have to explain to God when they meet their maker why they lied. And he's not gonna care about how much money they needed. Because my attorney, she had the opportunity of selling half of her stuff. She could still sell half of her stuff. I mean, she's another horrible parent too. Her kids are always in and out of prison, in and out of jail. If they haven't went to jail yet, it's because mommy's an attorney. Special privileges. Just like Alessandra Newbuild, she left the case, but the whole time she was on the case, she got away with murder because her daddy's a police officer for APD, so she can do nothing wrong. So she can neglect and ignore plenty of cases, and it won't matter because her daddy's an officer. That's what we need. We really, really need we need this government to be gone, completely gone. We don't even need a government. That's how I feel. We don't really need a government. I mean, for what? They do nothing. Even the police, and every single police officer does nothing. You even take it to the civilian police agency, whatever that they have, oversight agency, they do nothing. They don't care. I reported the neighbor that used to live, that still lives there at Cinnamon Tree Apartments. She's been telling me about my kids being left home alone at 2 a.m. The water is flooding in the bathroom, and it's going into her bathroom.
Ooh.
Because Esmeralda and Holly are bathing themselves, while Mark is out screwing around with whoever. And I guess apparently, according to the phone that I have, Holly gave me a phone here that I have that I guess he was selling or buying or doing or all three drugs. And I think the drugs were fentanyl. So CYFD has a lot of explaining to do. And I've been contacting the news. I've been contacting everyone I can contact to let them know how urgent this is, how bad this is. He owes over $7,000 of rent and utilities. And they see nothing wrong with that. That's not inadequate shelter for them. Well, what is? I mean, Holly doesn't even know how to sit down at the table and write on a piece of paper. She writes on the wall in the bedroom. When I walked in that apartment to get my stuff again, before he threw me out, scribbles all over her bedroom wall. Because that's what Holly does when she's not being supervised. All her services were stopped. She doesn't have ABA therapy no more. So I don't know what they're doing coming knocking on my door, trying to get me involved in services when they're not even planning to give my kids back to me. Like, no, I'm not going to do services for you to use it in court, because that's all they've been doing is using it in court. The whole thing with my boyfriend, we wrote a letter thinking it was going to help. No, I'm like, wait a minute, what did we do? We just wrote a letter saying we're going to stay away from each other for 5 years just to make them happy? No, not doing that. We're not doing that because he's actually good for the kids, and he does take care of the kids. And it doesn't matter if they approve him or not. The only reason why they don't approve him is because he has a bachelor's degree that they don't have. That's the only reason why he's not approved.
Well, they don't like educated people.
They don't. They hate it. And he's awesome. He just, I can't say enough good about him. He's just, I mean, yeah, sure, me and him, we both have similar problems. We have a similar past, but we've surpassed our past. I mean, half the world has some kind of disability. and they can't use that against people.
Right, right.
They can't use, like, I don't know if a lot of mothers know this, but services are voluntary or involuntary. No one knew that, did they? No one knew that till today, maybe?
Yeah, say that again, like, mothers
Mothers need to know that services are voluntary or involuntary.
okay.
There's I mean, I don't know for I can't speak for the rest of, like, America, all 50 states, but I know for New Mexico, I know this caseworker I had, Christina Pacheco, told me I didn't qualify for specific services because the kids weren't removed from the home yet. Something like that. It was really strange, but it was either voluntary or involuntary. I still have the email where she let me see if I can get that email for you real quick. Yeah, she had sent me an email about it, and I wanted to share with everybody because a lot of people don't know this, and if it could help somebody,
Mhm.
I'd be glad for it to help more people, because, like, I'm pretty sure people don't know that they lie about this stuff.
Mhm. And you've educated a lot of us on Facebook with a
Yeah,
lot and I
yeah,
appreciate it.
I do, because it's like, there we go. Yep, here we go. Voluntary family services. There we go. So I said to her, I said, "Hi, Christina. I was told that CYFD offers voluntary family services. We would like to participate or be signed up for it. It would benefit us greatly. Thank you, Monica M. Griego." And that was on May 17th, 2018 at 9:09 a.m. on a Thursday. She wrote back and she said, "Monica, this is a service you are not eligible, as your case is a legal case, meaning your children are in custody, and this is a service prior to legal intervention, a service we never got. Monica, if you're going to include your attorney on emails, you need to include all attorneys." I don't include all attorneys because they retaliate against me for doing that. So yeah. But yeah, so here we go. She said, "Monica, this is a service that the investigator, Jamie Blount, could have utilized this service if your family was appropriate." So what I'm wondering, what makes a family appropriate or not appropriate? That's the stupidest word to use. She said, "However, it was not an appropriate service at time of custody. This is usually discussed at the FCM prior to custody. Her CYFD policy for in-home services case 8.10.6.9 eligibility. A family is eligible to receive IHS without regard to income. B, a family may be eligible to receive IHS when 1, the child has been determined to be conditionally safe and the risk of child abuse or neglect has been determined to be moderate or high, or 2, the child has been determined to be unsafe and the risk of child abuse or neglect has been determined to be very low, moderate, or high. Parents," and then she said C, "parents who are involved in an active legal case through an abuse or neglect petition or a voluntary placement are ineligible for IHS." She said, "Your children were not safe in your home and the risk was high, so therefore was ruled out." And that's a crock of shit, because they didn't even listen to the teacher and the school social worker the day of the meeting, which was on April 18th, 2016. They didn't listen to them. They ignored them. They told them they were defending us. And of course they were going to defend us, because they knew that we were doing the best we could for Holly. We got Holly all the services she needed. they were the ones that didn't want to get her the services she needed. And we had 13 referrals before that.
Mm-hmm.
So it is like as it says there, voluntary family services. So it's a choice of either wanting the services or not.
Mm-hmm.
They make people believe that they need to take their services, and people don't say no because they feel like they make them need them. You know, they make them feel
Mm-hmm.
like they need them. They
Right.
make people believe, oh, you can't parent your kids because of this or because of that, and it's like, who said you couldn't parent your kids because of this or that?
Mm-hmm.
These people aren't even educated in college enough to say that. Like, for example, it's not even an example, it's actually facts. I've posted before. Alessandra Newbill. She used to work as a behavioral health, registered behavioral technician.
Hmm.
In the same company that my kids were, they had their services with behavioral health works.
Now,
And then
was she a
she was,
caseworker?
yeah,
Oh,
that's
geez.
concerning. That's very concerning because
Mm-hmm.
she can't even spell correctly.
Mm-hmm.
She can't even spell correctly. A lot of these people that they're putting in don't even know what to do with these kids because
I agree.
they don't even have kids.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even have kids to take care of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So how are they going to take care of our kids if they don't even have kids to take care of? They're not even a parent themselves.
And they're ruining society. They're ruining future generations. This
Yep.
has been going on and I'm so sorry you're going through this.
Yeah, and it's like, my mother-in-law, I don't even know. I think if she would have never been cremated, she would probably be flipping in her grave right now.
Mm-hmm.
I know my mom and my dad are probably really mad. They're
Mm-hmm.
probably feeling like they felt when we were kids. They're the ones that really wanted to blow up CYFD. It's in my reports. It's in my reports.
Mm-hmm.
It's on Facebook. It's on my reports that they wanted to do that. They hated them. And that's because they knew they were just there for the money.
Mm-hmm.
My mom and dad always told me they're there for the money.
Right.
And my foster parents, I used to think they love me. They don't love nobody. They love the money. They love how much money they can get for you.
Mm-hmm. Now, how much money per child are they getting?
Well, the price just went up for the adoption tax credits. It was 5 to 9,000, and now they just raised it just for one child for 1 year. 1 year they watched the kid, $14,900. So if you count that times eight kids, that's usually the number of kids that these people have in their homes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You'll see 8 kids, and you can tell which kids are their favorites and which ones are neglected.
Oh.
They neglect kids too, regardless of what they say, regardless of how they act or what they say in the news. They neglect kids too. And you can tell this because there was a lady that I was working with before. I almost got her daughter and her connected. Her daughter was adopted out. And I could tell by the family picture that her daughter was the one that was not being paid attention to, just by the pictures. When kids start to when they're really far apart, when you have that many kids, I think this lady had 12 kids in her home.
That's terrible.
You had a lot of kids. and they were all dressed similar. You could tell, like, these people, they're taught to, I want to say they're taught to, it's kind of like marketing, right?
Mm-hmm.
They make all the kids look like twins, all of them. They all dress them all in the same kind of shirt, same kind of pants, and they just,
Yeah,
and
that's weird.
they act like the kids are happy, and they're really not happy.
Mm-mm.
But these kids, they're so used to being brainwashed by these people. They talk so nice to them, and they lie to them about their parents, and then they give them what they want. So, I mean, these kids, like, it's not what they really want, but it's what they're asking for. So they're giving them what they ask for. So if a kid says, oh, I want a tablet, or I want a phone, or I want a computer, or I want an Xbox, or a PS4, or a new car, whatever, they'll give it to them. They will. And that's because they got the money.
Mm-hmm.
They got the money to do it. We don't got that kind of money. We actually are teaching, we're the ones that have to actually teach our kids values and morals and standards, and see to it that they grow up to be decent human beings.
Mm-hmm.
Like for Esmeralda right now, I don't know what's going to happen to her if she doesn't ever see me again.
Mm.
She has such a bad temper and very bad behavior. And I think she's going to revert back to old behaviors. There was one time that she kicked a kid in the throat at daycare.
Mm.
And that's because she's hurting. She is hurting. These people don't give two shits that these kids are hurting.
Mm-hmm.
Holly might have autism. Holly is disabled. Holly probably can't talk the way I can or the way Esmeralda can. But don't put it past her to express her feelings the way she will, because she'll sit there and laugh and joke with you. And next thing you know, she's pinching you or kicking you. And you won't even see it coming. And that's what's going to happen to whoever, thinks that they're going to, because these kids, they're not going to care. They're not. They're going to act like Mark.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to act like my brother Leroy. They're going to have their egos. Because the way they feel is, oh, no one cares about me anyway. Holly, I hope God intervenes in a very supernatural and powerful way to stop everyone that's trying to do what they're doing right now in my case.
Mm-hmm.
Because Bernadette is not fit to take care of kids. She's gonna have Holly wasting away, collecting benefits for Holly, making herself rich off of Holly. I mean, she had I'm serious about this. She had a whole rooftop. Her roof was, that's how high she had cases of Cokes.
Jeez.
So I'm like thinking to myself, oh my gosh, she gets my kids. They're going to be fat like her kids, like her grandkids are, full of diabetes, close to dying. Because all she does is feed everybody. And what is she going to do when she can't feed people no more? There's only going to be so much food.
Mm-hmm.
These kids are going to get sick of being fed. And they're going to actually want to see their family. And I mean, the way I see it, regardless of what they're trying to do, whether it's a ploy for me to show up to court for Maryann, Angeles to get her money, it doesn't matter to me. I mean, I don't have to contract with them. I mean, I more than did my treatment plan. They know it.
Mm-hmm.
They know, it's even in the Social Security documents, that he has anger management problems. That's why he can't keep a job. They even said he doesn't have a birth defect in his back. So his mom lied about that. His mom lied about a lot of things. She lied about, maybe she even lied about him having dyslexia.
Mm-hmm.
He can read. I have a picture of him holding a book, reading it.
Mm-hmm.
I have a video on YouTube that shows that he did get good grades in reading when he was a kid. So his mom clearly lied. She just didn't want him to work. She didn't want him to become a man.
That is really crippling to do to someone.
Yeah. And she did it by manipulation the whole time. Sweetheart, you can't do this. Sweetheart, you can't. No.
Mm-hmm.
That's why things ended up so bad for her. That's why Mark Jr. didn't want to be around her. I mean, Mark Jr. is wasting away. He's wasting away. He's 20-some years old and he's wasting away.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't even get to have a happy birthday because Bernadette is so selfish and so greedy. She won't even make the effort to give him an actual birthday. She knows she just has him there for greed.
Yes.
And she's going to try doing that with my kids, and I will not let that happen.
Mm-hmm.
I will not. I know Esmeralda has a fear of me going to jail, but if I ever went to jail, it would be for the right reasons. And I would make sure that my kids do not stay with her. They do not end up with her because she cannot take care of my kids. She couldn't even finish, like, they couldn't even go to school. She couldn't even log them in during COVID. They had the tablets and everything there for them to log them in for school. She couldn't even do that. She was complaining about it the whole time.
They should have just given you your girls back instead of dragging this out.
They need to stop this vendetta against me. It's just that they're just mad because I'm exposing them. And it's like, you know what? Okay, you want me to stop exposing you? Give me my kids back and stop lying about me and stop harboring a fugitive. Because every time they let Mark abuse the kids, every single month, every single day, every single week, more and more, they're showing that they don't have my children's best interests at heart. None of them. Not the Garden ad litem, not the CASA, not nobody that's giving them services. The doctors, the dentists, nobody. The school, come on, 30% of time is how much time my kids have spent in school. They're failing their classes worse than they were with Irene. Because Mark is taking them to school when he wants to.
Yeah, it just doesn't work that way, you know?
It doesn't work. Yeah, your kids are not going to graduate high school by you taking them to school 30% of the time. They need to go to school every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows that. He knows what he's doing is wrong. And he thinks he's going to get some specific attention or some special attention because he's doing this. He's not. I mean, I don't understand, what is it going to take for this agency to wake up? Like, do they need to have some kind of psychotic dreams? What do they need to have for them to wake up and see what they're doing? Do they need to go blind so they can actually see? Do they need to go deaf so they could actually hear? I mean, I don't know what else to say about this agency. It disgusts me. It sickens me. The judge, I want to shit on her face, literally, because that's how disgusting she is to me. That's how much disrespect I have for her, because she heard my daughter in her courtroom. They played the YouTube video, and she sat there and had no concerns whatsoever and chose to believe Megan Gonzalez knowing that Megan Gonzalez got her evidence from Lucinda Pennington. Lucinda Pennington went and posted a big old comment talking about how she knows about sexual abuse. If it never happened to her, no, she doesn't know what it's about. Esmeralda hurt me that night. She hurt me because she was hurting. So Lucinda can't say, that she, maybe, I don't know if Lucinda, I feel like Lucinda is possibly I feel like she's like an undercover CPS worker or something, because why would she do that? Why would you go and someone that doesn't even involve her go and talk about my case and post a comment on Facebook like that? Especially if it has nothing to do with her.
Mm-hmm.
And for me to sit, people need to understand that, no, I didn't groom my daughter. I woke her up to ask her questions that I knew the police were not going to ask her. That I knew she was not going to answer nobody, because she doesn't trust the police, because they've taken her from her home so many times. She doesn't care to talk to them. She has no respect for the police, and she never will have it. Because the way she feels, the police are not going to keep her safe. CYFD is not going to keep her safe. No matter where she goes, she knows she's not going to be kept safe. So she doesn't care about these adults. She has no respect for them. And that's because that's what they've turned her into.
And that's understandable.
She is sick of their shit, just like I am. She didn't want to talk to a therapist about her problems, because the way she feels, that therapist is just there to make her $20 a day. She don't care about Esmeralda's problems. She had a therapist that could have done the right thing. Her therapist chose not to do the right thing. She ignored what Esmeralda told her. She brushed it aside.
Yeah, these people have a lot of answering to God to do, and that's why I'm so glad God devised hell, because that's where they're going to go.
That is where they're going to go, and they're not going to be able to be saved. That means that when they die, there's not going to be no, I'm so sorry, please forgive me. No. My mother-in-law, she had a really sad death. She died, basically it seems like the poison exploded inside her. And it's because I told her, I told her before she died, I said, just let go of all the control that you think you have. Nope. She wouldn't do it. And the saddest part of it all is like for Holly has, in her own way, confirmed and defended Esmeralda. See, and I have a video that's on YouTube where I showed the cheese sticks that Holly used to eat. When she's with us, when she's with me and David here at home, she actually will eat those. She actually will eat them, and that's because she feels safe. She doesn't do specific things if she doesn't feel safe to do them. That's what people aren't going to ever understand about Holly. So that means that if they take her somewhere else, they put her somewhere else, she's going to act completely different. And they're going to do what they've done, like what they did recently. They took her from him on April 22nd. and they put both the girls in foster care with a stranger again. And they didn't know what to do with Holly. They didn't know how to dress her. They didn't know how to bathe her. They didn't know nothing about her. So Holly was screaming and crying and hitting and all kinds of stuff that she always does when people that don't know her don't know how to deal with her. So they put her back with him. And that I don't remember if that Zoom video that I had showed you, I think I had posted on Facebook, and I think you commented on it a while back. They lied. They lied about that. Everything they had said that they're going to do, they lied. They were about to sabotage my job on Mother's Day too. If I wouldn't have went outside and put my feet on the ground and gathered myself around like the flowers, the earth, a little bit to kind of ground myself and just wonder, like, started thinking more and more, no, this lady's lying. She has to be lying. And I'm glad I listened to my intuition, because she was lying.
Mm-hmm.
Mother's Day came, no visit from my kids whatsoever. Not one phone call from Nicole Rollins, not one phone call from Amanda A. Perea, not one response from either one of them, and not one email either. And no one's emailed nothing. They haven't emailed. It's been, 72 days since my last visit. 73 days to be exact today. And that's because Esmeralda told me that people were calling her a liar at school. And she told me she was afraid of her dad. And she said it in front of the CSA, and it seemed like the CSA went and told Alessandra, and Alessandra is the one that probably decided to pull the visits, or that's why she got off the case and gave the case to someone else and told her what to do. They all bounce back to each other left and right.
And their worlds are turned upside down. All they want is their mother. Something so simple. This is simple. Just return the kids to you.
Yeah. They could do that. They could do that. And they could put Mark in prison for sexual abuse. They could give me the justice they didn't give me when I was a kid. They could give Esmeralda that justice. Esmeralda didn't deserve to be hurt by her father. Holly didn't deserve to be hurt by her father, and I know Holly was hurt by him. I have a video of her touching herself, calling herself a bad girl. Kids don't do that if they're in a safe environment.
Well,
you know, I mean.
Oh, I was gonna say, what is what's the next step that you're waiting for? That they're gonna go, like, when is this going to happen? That you know of, or?
Well, I feel like it's a threat. It's a threat because the guardian ad litem has a lot to explain of why he hasn't actually represented my kids, because it shows in the court records that he has not been at court in months.
Mm-hmm.
They cannot do this. They cannot illegally try to adopt my kids out for the second time, especially when they had 9. And I filed myself with my attorney supervising everything. But I'm the one that wrote them all up. I did 7 out of those 9 guardianships. They agreed to not 1. That speaks volumes there. My mother-in-law passed away, and they still continued with this. Judge Ward was supposed to close my case July 21st of 2020. Instead of her acting like a judge and doing her actual job, she listens to a guardian ad litem and keeps the case open until December. Why would you do that?
Mm.
That is the most stupidest thing to be doing. If you have a heart, if you have a soul, if you have compassion, if you actually represent children, you care about children, you would not want this case to be open any longer.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if we we have daycare, if we have services. Let us get our own damn services.
Right.
Let us get
Right.
our own daycare. We were supposed to do that anyway. We were going to do that anyway. We don't need CYFD in the middle of our freaking business. They have plenty of other cases they need to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
They have kids that are babies. There's plenty of kids that they have that are worse off than mine.
Mm-hmm.
Out of all the kids that they can be messing with, they want to mess with my family. Like, it's like, what are they gonna get out of it? You think I'm gonna move out of Albuquerque because you're messing with my family? No, I'm gonna move where I think my kids are at.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm gonna move to. And God be willing, they're not gonna be able to adopt my kids. This judge, if she tries to adopt my kids out illegally, I'm gonna make sure she gets removed
Mm-hmm.
as a judge.
Shame on her.
She's gonna get removed as a judge. That's what's gonna happen. And I'm gonna make sure that she never ever gets to practice as a judge in the state of New Mexico or in the United States. Especially because she's ruined so many cases. She is evil. Doesn't care about kids, doesn't care about their rights, their vision, their dental, their hearing. I mean, she don't care about nothing but her wallet.
Mm-hmm. Well, these judges have to be brought to accountability. You know, we're all held to accountability. I don't see why they can't be.
Well, that's the main reason why people end up, letting a loose screw in their brain go and just go up and shoot them and kill them, because they get sick and tired of seeing that the legislators, the governor, does nothing. The governor does nothing to these judges. They don't reduce their salary. They don't take them out of practicing as a judge. They do nothing to these judges. Nothing. Michelle Lujan Grisham for New Mexico does nothing to Judge Ward. And that's because she's a Democratic governor, just like she's a Democratic judge.
Now, I was going to ask you, if parents want to reach you and they need help, how can you be reached?
I do have a website. It's on my profile. I'm listed as the CEO on my website. Right now, I am starting to try to. I wasn't charging before. Now I am kind of charging. I'm, some people that I begin to help. I don't know if I can really help them, and that's because a lot of people are not, like, they say they won't help, but they won't give case information. They won't
Mm-hmm.
follow through with nothing, and they seem to be very scared of CPS, of the judges, the courts, and it's like, I can't work with people that are afraid.
Right.
I mean, you cannot be afraid. These are your kids. They're going to take your kids from you. They're going to take your life from you. You can't afford to sit there and live in fear. If I sat there and I lived in fear, I wouldn't be as far as I am today. And I know right now, my attorney's mad because she's not getting paid, or she should not be getting paid because she's filed nothing on my behalf. She's done nothing for my case. All she's done is respond back to these emails, obviously in an offensive tone. She's offended because she knows that what she's doing as an attorney is not what she should be doing. She knows she's not following the ethics of truth. She's following the ethics of lies, as it states in the COT.net website.
What website was that again?
It's called COT.net.
COT.
Net, yes. It's CAUGHT.net. And it's a website that exposes systemic powers, exposes judges. It has a lot of documents, and it basically tells you what these judges do with the evidence. You know, it tells you, like this Judge Ward, she's more than shown it several times that she gets the evidence and she selects it. She picks and chooses what she wants to see as evidence. And that is biasness. That does not, that's not right. That's not a fair judge. That's not an impartial judge. That's a biased judge. That is a judge that does not honor the Constitution. That judge does not care about anyone in her courtroom. And another thing I want to say about my case is this. She can't even rule on my case, and she should not be ruling on my case because she wasn't present for the first 2 years in my case. How are you going to rule on my case for the first 2 years when you weren't even present for the first 2 years? So you don't know what happened for the first 2 years. And John Schopner going and updating her? No, that doesn't work. You don't do that. You don't go and update a judge. She either was present or was not, and she was not.
This is what they do.
Well, no, that's what they do to some people. I don't think they're going to do it to me because my case goes way back. It goes way back from when I was a kid. Been dealing with CYFD since I was a kid. So they're going to have to explain why they didn't arrest my uncle for raping me when I was a kid. Why they didn't arrest him. Why they didn't arrest David Griego, Holly's uncle, for shaking her as the baby. Why he's still walking free. And why they haven't arrested Mark for sexually abusing his kids. They're going to have to explain that to somebody. The news, somebody. And I'm not going to stop until they do have an answer. And the answer is not going to be Monica's behavior, Monica's anger at the team, because you know what? I have every right to be angry at this team, these people, because they have let my children be neglected and abused.
I'm so sorry.
Starving. My kids are starving. Right now, they're starving. I had to call the police just for Esmeralda to get her glasses. So I could give her her glasses so she could see. Sad. It is sad. This is no longer New Mexico. This is not New Mexico. This is just a state with people in it that don't care. Along with the Attorney General. He has my email blocked ever since I reported Amanda Veraca the first time. Yeah, he has my email blocked.
Terrible.
He needs to go. The Attorney General doesn't even care about these kids. Like there was a little girl a few years back. when her dad was prostituting her, and he was trafficking her. She went to school with lipstick on. She had hickeys on her neck. She was wearing clothes that you could tell she used for, to be sold. Her teacher took her clothes, gave her clean clothes, gave her new clothes, and let her take a bath at school. Her teacher tried to report it to the police. They got that evidence and they threw it in the trash. And with my kids, Holly goes to school. When she was going to school, they were lying about the EA or the teacher braiding her hair. She go to school and they braid her hair at school.
I really wish you get these kids back. They need to be with you.
See, I think the thing is, CYFD needs to be closed down.
Right.
I said it before, they need to be closed down. They globally needs to be completely closed down. Completely closed down. They don't need to be open anymore. This ASFA needs to be banned.
Mm-hmm.
There needs to be no ASFA. No more Title 4 through A through E. No, it needs to be closed completely.
I agree with you.
Because all these kids, they're just profits off of them.
Yeah. It's not right. Now, can I still use your email to put in the podcast notes?
Yeah.
Because I want you to come back on again and update us when you're ready and you know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that I'm hoping to because I did file an affidavit of status, basically telling the CYFD that I was not going to contract with them.
Yeah.
That my children were not going to contract with them. And they came to my apartment. They were trying to talk about services, and I'm like, we don't need services. We can select our own services. But I told them, I said, you have 48 hours to bring my kids back. If not, don't come back. And Barbara J. Stone was on the call. I called her that day because I didn't know who to call. And so I called her, and she even told them, she asked them, she said, what are you doing there? Why haven't you returned her kids to her? They had no answer. They said they were there to observe I don't think she said observe. I think she said they were there to check the apartment. Assess. Their fancy word, assess. Like, what's there to assess? My apartment is 100 times better than his.
It looks beautiful.
Because I got everything out of the storage finally. Closed the storage, so I don't have that debt no more. We got the kids their beds. They just need to be home.
I agree.
They need to be home. They need to be home. They need to have their structure. They need to be in school. They need to have Holly needs to have her ABA services. And they need to get their services and be home. And be able to go to school and all this they used to do.
I agree with you.
And they don't need to be adopted out to nobody just because they don't like me, because that's all it is. They just don't like me. Judge Ward thought I was a pushover. She thought I was just someone she could just push over and just bully like she's done to most people. in our courtroom. She bullied most people. So they sign over their rights and give up.
So sad.
There's been people that have contacted me about here in New Mexico that moved to different states that one of them said that her sister died, and she had the kids, and the person that has the kids now is in a different state fighting someone else, but they said that the case originated here in New Mexico.
And that's trafficking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that person, I haven't heard from them since, but I mean, all these I've gotten so much information from all these different states and the directors for CPS, at least for the United States at least, and a lot of them don't get back to you. They don't.
Mm-mm.
They act like they don't even see or hear your email until the news is involved, and then they want to talk.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to get the news involved because getting the FBI involved. The FBI, I don't even know why they even exist, because they're not doing nothing to CPS.
Yeah.
Well, Maryann, I just want to say thank you for having me on your show.
Well, I'm glad I had you on, and I'm going to have you back on. Like I said, when you're ready to come back on, just message me, let me know.
I'm hoping things will change. I'm hoping that they will come to their senses and realize what they're doing is wrong, and realize that they do have a chance to make things right for the kids, and actually follow through with reunification instead of saying that they've tried it when they really haven't.
Mm-hmm.
Because they know they haven't tried it. And of course, give me my divorce. Give me my divorce that I've been waiting to get. It doesn't take long.
Right.
They just don't want me to move on with my life. They don't want me to be happy. They don't want my kids to be happy with me.
They're horrible. This is terrible. They're horrible.
They are. Yeah, we can pray though. We can pray, and I have strong faith that God will not let it happen this way. God will intervene at the right time and put the right people in place. He may even take some people out, you know. If it's not God, it's also Satan. Satan can take out the bad ones.
Mm-hmm.
And if he does, maybe we'll get some good people in that actually have a heart, have a soul, and still have a brain, and care about children enough to stop just seeking adoption for everything. Adoption is not the answer.
Well said. Well, don't jump off. Slam the Gavel is a podcast to help the public understand what really goes on in these family courtrooms. I'm your host, Maryann Petri, author of Dismantling Family Court Corruption, Why Taking the Kids Was Not Enough, and Cry Out for Justice, Poems of Truth. Please join us again here with Monica in the future and other exciting guests. Thank you again, Monica. Thank you.
Thank you for having me on your show.